How's it going, everyone? Mike here, and I hope you had a fantastic weekend and you stayed safe and healthy if you celebrated the holiday in the States. If you're anywhere else, I hope your weekend was just as good. I wanted to do this quick video because I keep getting the same few questions, handful of questions, like 4 or 5 questions about a few topics consistently on social media. And rather than, just type it out, copy and paste it and send it to everybody, why not just do a short Q&A video and answer them as a point of reference so you can always go back to and you can fact check me if you want. I don't know. Some people like to do that. You can go do that too. But I have a few questions that I got asked about the wrestling code, about EA and baseball games, and of course college football. So without any more delay, why don't we just get into it? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to help us grow, and let's answer some of your burning questions. The first question is, do you think EA will be bringing back MLB? Now, I can tell you that EA has been working on the idea of bringing back an officially licensed MLB game for a few years now, if not almost a half decade or more. The toes in the water were with the MLB license and MLBPA license with the Super Mega Baseball 4. That was one of the games to test what the interest would be there. The response was really great, really positive from the community and internally. And I know EA has been interested on continuing to bring back series from the past, like we're seeing with college football. There were talks in the past of bringing back NBA Street. There were talks in the past of bringing back quite a few of that EA Sports Big license, and MLB, specifically MVP Baseball, was talked about. And it did get to the point where documentation and game design documents were being created for the game. We're just unsure if it ever went into full production or if they're still kind of debating on what to do with that. But to answer that question, I do think ultimately that we will see an MLB game come back from EA. Probably, if I had to guess, I think by 2030 we'll be hearing it. If it doesn't happen by 2030, that's when I'd go probably never again, because we'd be approaching, 20 something years, almost 30 years without an MLB game from EA, and that might be too late to dip your toes into the water, especially as MLB The Show continues to grab that stranglehold, now being multi-platform. But right now, if you have to ask me, I do think by 2030 we'll see MLB The Show, or MVP Baseball, or whatever they decide to call it, come back from EA. Any news on the wrestling code? This one I get asked about a lot because of my past coverage of the wrestling code and all of the wrestling games in development now, and they have come out. Like 2K has taken off. There obviously is AEW Fight Forever now. There's Retromania now. Ultra Pro Wrestling is in development, and that's looking fantastic. And the wrestling code has been in development for a while, announced for years now. And the team at Virtual Basement continues to chug along with motion capture and animations and new reveals. I mean, they're currently doing, as of earlier this month, they were still working on motion capture. They announced a game mode featuring King Kong Bundy, which I think looks fun and sounds fun. Still haven't got my hands on the game. I'm hoping to in the coming months or so to kind of get a feel for what players can expect. But the news is they're just working right along. I am in communication with the development team as often as I possibly can be, and things are going well. They are happy with the roster. They're happy with the design of the characters. They're happy with the engine. It's all about making the gameplay feel good. This is a true love letter and a true passion project from the team at Virtual Basement and the lead programmer, Ashton. So they want to do this extremely right. Some people might think that they maybe announced the game too soon. That could be viewed that way, but they didn't want the early announcement to force their hand in putting out a game that wasn't ready. They're still working on it. I'm hopeful that we will see something that you can play by the end of the year, if not early 2025, but that's just me guessing. It's not an official report, but I am trying to find out as much information about when players might be able to expect to get their hands on it. Will they add more commentary lines to college football as it goes on? So that's a question that came in a lot, especially because they've done it with Madden. EA has done it with NHL. They get these teams, these broadcasters in the booth throughout the season. The problem is who they have for college football. I view it highly unlikely we'll get Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler in multiple times to add lines. But it's more likely and more possible, I guess, that we'll see Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, who's no longer with ESPN, and Reese Davis to come in and do lines. If not all three of them, then one of them. So I do expect them to do something, but I wouldn't expect it to be a lot or as much as some people might be used to with sports games nowadays. When will we get more college football 25 news? This is the question I am getting hammered with over and over again since the full reveal of the game happened. We know that content creators, select individuals were invited down to Orlando to get their hands on not only college football, but the new Madden 25 as well. Madden 25 2 Electric Boogaloo. But as far as the timeline of college football news, I do expect and plan on seeing more before June starts. So this week at some point, we're recording this and putting this up on the 27th on Memorial Day. But I'd expect at least something small by the end of the month, and then as the weeks go on, we'll start to get a lot more. I don't know what's going to come, but I do fully expect and think more information is coming. I know they were shown a lot down there, from what I know, and from what was basically told to me. They got their hands on everything. So, and some people actually decided to, I think, breaking an NDA they signed and post that they were down there on social media, which is a no-no. Like, I'm one to get inside information and ask around and get all these things, but breaking an NDA or an embargo you signed is not something that sits right with me. I don't like it. I've never done it. I would never do it. If I sign something, then it's my word, and breaking my word is this is the biggest no-no to me. But as far as back to the original question, I do think this week we'll start to get something. I don't know how big it's going to be, but the information is going to come quick, fast, and a lot from a lot of different people. So all I can say is get ready to be amazed by what you see, because from what I know about the game, what I've talked about, I'm still super excited about what we're about to get with college football. And lastly, let's talk about Road to Glory in college football, because this is the question I got quite a bit, actually, and I was kind of surprised of whether or not Road to Glory was going to be a story mode type of single player mode. And I can tell you that if you're thinking that it's going to be like the old Madden storylines for your career, My Player, or the old Spike Lee My Career stories, it's not going to be like that. It's going to have different RPG elements, I guess you can say. But the main story is going to be how you choose to interact and build up your player and perform on the field, and what goes through your head personally as you're playing. It's not going to be anything over the top or highly produced. So if that's your worry, I wouldn't be too concerned about that, because that's just simply not the case from what I know. There might be some elements, but don't expect it to be a full like Spike Lee joint type of production here when college football comes out. But everyone, that's all I have for you today. I just wanted to get on here and answer a few of the questions I've been getting asked quite a bit. If you like these Q&As and you want to see more of them, leave your questions in the comments below and let me know by leaving a like and subscribing to this video. You can find me on all social media platforms at Mike Straw Media. And until next time, take care of one another.